We're going hands-on and gloves off with 4 of the most divisive modern Rolex watches on the market today. If you look across Instagram, the forums, comment sections, you'll see people's reactions range from what a beauty to what were they thinking. We'll cover history, pricing, design details, and the more prickly questions surrounding these watches. If all goes well, we might even do a whole video on that Sprite GMT in the future. For now, let's dive right in. Let's start today with the Palm Dial Datejust. Now you have 2 options here, the full steel with the green dial or the two-tone with the gold dial. It's available in 36mm and it debuted in 2021. Retail price for the all steel is about $7.5 and just about $12 for the two-tone. Now, of course, the market rates are above that, with the steel starting around $10K on Chrono 24 and the two-tone starting around $13. Now, the green dial version has been a surprising crowd favorite, but we're going hands-on with the Granddaddy two-tone today. Now, the centerpiece here, the main attraction is going to be this dial. It's engraved with something called a femtosecond laser, which uses electromagnetic pulses, creating lighter and darker palm leaves for more visual depth as you move it around in the light. Now, the two-tone Datejust has been criticized as being kind of a grandfather watch, a little bit of a Florida retiree kind of thing. But hey, the flip side is, think of if Patrick Bateman lived in Miami. Now, if you're considering buying one of these, you'll have a couple choices to choose from. Bracelet-wise, are you going to go Oyster or Jubilee? And bezel-wise, would you do the fluted or the smooth? Now, when it comes to the green dial, I think the best combination is going to be the Jubilee with the smooth bracelet, getting a little bit of visual break between those busier elements. But when it comes to the two-tone, I say go full-on Jubilee, full-on fluted with that dial, and go for maximum effect. Now, this is a watch that doesn't look like much online, a little same old, but in person, it really sings, especially in the light. Next up, we have the Oyster Perpetual with what is known as the Celebration dial. This was released in 2023 for Watches and Wonders. And the funny part is, Watches and Wonders always falls right around April Fool's, and for a second I thought this might be a joke online. But this watch has been a hit out the gates, and we're definitely seeing that in prices as well. The watch is available in full steel, but in a range of sizes from 31 to 36 to 41 millimeters. Now you can see the retail prices for these on the Rolex website, and on Chrono 24, prices for the 31 start around 2.5 times the retail price. For the 36, about 3.5 times, and for the 41 millimeter, almost 4 times the retail price. And if you are very online, you might have seen Tom Brady rocking one of these as well. The thing I like about this watch is that it tells people that it is definitely not your only watch. Could this be a one-watch collection? I guess in some world. It might fit into a 3, but would probably be better in maybe a 7 to 9 watch collection. This is a prime example of the risk-taking that Rolex has been about for the last few years, and is maybe outdone only by the Puzzle Dial Day-Date. Now, it's a shame that Rolex doesn't compete in only watches. This would be a killer. With a range of sizes here, this could be a great his and hers, or my suggestion, go for the 36 so you both can wear it. Next up, you know it, you love it, or maybe you don't. It's the Rolex Milgauss. This started as the scientist's watch and therefore has the least sex appeal in terms of history of any Rolex watch, but conversely also the most streetwear feel as well. Now, a key feature in the origins of this watch was the anti-magnetic properties. But we should note that most modern watches, especially most modern steel sport Rolex watches, are beyond safe enough for the day-to-day. Now, this watch was quietly discontinued in 2023. Retail price was just about $9,000, but the gray market starts at about $10,000, so just a little bit of margin, even after the discontinuation. Compare that to the bump that the Rolex Submariner Hulk saw, for example, and you see 2 different stories. You have a few different dial color options here and a few different crystal options here. We'll get to that in a second. But as far as hierarchy goes, the blue is going to be the winner. Many people thought this watch would be a banger in retrospect. We thought it would be discontinued year after year, but now that it has been, that doesn't seem to be the case, at least pricing-wise. In terms of dimensions, it's a big one. You're looking at 40 millimeters in diameter, 49 millimeters lug to lug, and this watch is 0.5 millimeter thicker than the newest Submariner and 1.5 millimeters thicker than the newest Daytona, which is a lot for a time only. You also have a significant weight when you feel it in your hands. Now, the vintage versions with 4-digit reference numbers are absolutely amazing, and I would love to see these reincarnated in the future if you're watching Rolex. Now, a couple key features that set this watch apart and divide the community the most. One, you had the GV crystal that stands for Glace Vert in French. Now, the brand claimed that this green glass was so difficult to make that they didn't even bother with a patent process. Now, if you ask me, the blue dial plus the green crystal plus that orange lightning bolt second hand is a little bit too much, but maybe too much is the point here. Now, the absolute most memorable element about this watch that got a lot of attention back in 2007 is the lightning bolt seconds hand. The lightning bolt second hand, of course, harkens back to the scientific roots of this watch and gives it that extra bit of sauce that a Datejust might not have. Now, the new Air King is 90% as standard as it can be. But what about the dial? What about the dial? What is going on with this dial? Now, the inspiration for this setup was not aeronautic per se, but actually inspired by Supersonic Cars trying to break the land speed record. You have a combination of applied luminous hour markers at 3, 6, 9, and 12, and printed minute markers in between those. This watch has changed quite a lot compared to other Rolex models. If you look at a Submariner from 50 years ago, it's not too different from the ones today. But compare this Air King to the vintage 34mm Air Kings, and you see how far we've come. This new version debuted in 2022, and one of the biggest changes that you'll see is the crown guards. Now, the crown guards have been widely a popular move as they are more functional, safer, and it levels up the watch into the Rolex professional family. Another detail I love is that green seconds hand, which adds, say with me, a little pop of color, and it's something I think Rolex should do a lot more in the future. With the aviation heritage and the high contrast dial, you could think of this as Rolex's answer to the pilot's watch. It's 40mm in steel, but it does wear a little bit larger thanks to the expansive dial and the thinner bezel. Retail prices right around $7.5, and prices on Chrono 24 start around $9. So the upsell isn't big, but you're buying this for the history and the quirkiness after all. Zooming out now, is there a standout among these, and how would you rate them 1 through 4? Are they worth the risk or bad for the brand? There are two funny things to note about Rolex in closing. One, they don't care what anyone thinks. And 2, these watches could disappear from the catalog at any time. I'm Thomas Hendricks of Chrono 24 in New York City. Stay tuned to our channel for more videos just like this. We'll see you next time.